So, a business deal went wrong. I lost like $5,000 in a span of a couple days. Yeah, it really sucks. And I had to pay people back their money because I was referring them, and I was running a beta test for a new project, and we charged a fee for it, our partners, and it ended up not delivering in the way that we thought it would, and we had to shut it down. We just had to shut it down. Um, and so I paid it back. I paid back the money that I was supposed to earn plus more. Yep. And I also lost money myself because I was also invested into the project. And so that's what happens when you're in the business game. Things go south unexpectedly because everything revolves around human beings, and human beings are flawed. And there was a really valuable lesson that I learned, and I'm still taking very valuable lessons through this. But here is the most valuable lesson. I actually don't really feel that bad about it. And I know for a fact, me, maybe even 6 months ago, but definitely 12 months ago, I'd be shitting bricks about losing this money. I'd be so upset, stressed out. I'd be talking so badly to myself. You idiot! How could you have not thought of that? It seemed obvious. How could you be so naive? And probably other really, really even worse things that I would have said to myself. And one of the skills that I feel that I've mastered up to this point has been state management. State management is, if there's any skill, any ability for you to be able to manage, it's state management. Mastering state management gives you freedom. It gives you the ability to go and pursue and try things, and when you fail, you manage your state. It doesn't affect you. Truly doesn't affect you. And I'm going to show you how exactly you can manage your state so that whenever something happens, whenever you make a mistake, when something goes wrong, whenever you take a risk, you just keep on pushing forward because you know exactly how to manage your emotions. Yeah, you're going to get pissed off. Yeah, you're going to be angry and upset, but you're going to move on. You're not going to dwell on it. You're not going to worry. You're just going to pay the money back. Why are you going to pay the money back? Because relationships are the most important thing in this world. There's nothing more valuable than community in your relationships. That has to be your number one priority. And when people see that you operate that way, more opportunities come your way. And so you always have to take the higher ground and live according to and in alignment to your morals and to your values. And so that is the foundation of state management. You always behaving according to your values and to your morals. And if you do that, then you'll always feel good inside. You always feel good inside. You always feel aligned because you always have done the right thing. But there's more that comes to this, right? Because even though people act with integrity and they act with the most best intentions and the best values, right? Even though, and I'll give you an example, like my dad. My dad's also an entrepreneur, and he recently had a deal go south, and it affected him terribly. I mean, he stressed himself out so badly that he got severely sick. He started getting nerve pain, and it was all due to stress, self-induced stress. Stress is literally the worst thing that you can do to yourself. What's crazy is that 90% of people are always living in this anxious, stressed out state. They're just always wound up. They can never relax. What does that do? That increases cortisol in your body. And when you have cortisol in your body, you're not relaxed. Your creativity dwindles. It's proven that if you're in a state of anxiety and fear, you lose a certain percentage of your IQ points. You literally become dumber when you are stressed out, when you're in a fear and anxious state. And so many people are in that state. You lose your cognitive abilities. You can't think right. You can't see the playing field. You're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. That's what happens. And we can get into conspiracies and all that stuff. The system wants you to be that. There could be some truth to that. But at the end of the day, it's all state management. It all comes back down to state management. And so, state management comes down to focus. And I'll give you an example here. And I'll be vulnerable here. My brother is living a fucking amazing life right now. He's out traveling, being a digital nomad. And we were living in Colombia last year for 4 months, and it was amazing. And then we both come back here to Austin, and I can't leave yet. I'm not able to, and he does, and he's been traveling for like 6 months now, and it's incredible. I'm so fucking happy for him. But every now and then, I I feel bad because I'm not getting the experience of life that I want. And I actually told my coach that. I was like, I don't feel envious, but I feel like I feel bad about my life when I compare it because I'm not living that experience. And it brings me down. And one thing I didn't realize that my coach pointed out to me is that, well, your focus is in the wrong place. Right? You shouldn't focus on the things that you don't have. Why are you focused on things that you don't have? That's not your life. And the moment he said that, it was so obvious. I'm like, wow, that's so true. I was focused on something that I didn't have. Wow. And then I just went back to remembering all the blessings that I have right now. I have my health. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I have my family. They're all alive and well, most of them. I have an incredible group of friends. I have a relationship with God. I run marathons. like I run a business. Like I have endless ideas, and I live a life by my own design. And yes, things go wrong sometimes, but life is pretty fucking beautiful, man. And as soon as I got back into that state, I became grateful. I was in a grateful state, and it tapped me into a state of abundance, and I became relaxed. Because when you're comparing yourself, and that's why social media is a double-edged sword. It can be a tool to advance and grow your audience and grow your business, but it's also a tool of comparison because you're comparing your life to everyone's highlight reel, and it's hard. And sometimes you have to shut it out, put it away, because even if you don't feel it, even if you don't directly feel it consciously, it does affect you subconsciously. You say, "Ooh, that guy's doing pretty awesome. Oh, I'm not doing that great. Oh man, that guy's so jacked. I want to be jacked like that." And little by little, it just chips away, chips away, chips away at you, and it puts you in a state of anxiety, of comparison, of fear, of jealousy, and those are all negative emotions that you don't want to possess. That take away your cognitive ability. And so now we're back to state management, right? So state management is all about your focus. See, when I lost the $5,000 in these last couple of days, I could have focused on that. I could have focused on that. But there's literally nothing that I could have done. Nothing. And it takes practice, because before I wouldn't have been able to just shift my focus. And you have to be very cold. Just cut it off. Doesn't exist. Boom. Now you're looking over here. More opportunity. Because the most important thing is for you to feel good now. Feel good now in this present moment. If you feel good now in the present moment, you still have your mental acuity. You have your cognitive abilities to be able to think, be creative, and pivot. But if you stay caught up in something, you allow that negative energy to consume you. You get stressed out. That negative self-talk, it's a vicious cycle. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm going to fuck up on the next one. I hope I don't fuck up the next one. And now you're in a fear state going into the next thing. Pivot, move fast. It's done, right? The important thing is that you give each opportunity, you build it to the max. You push it to where it needs to go. And when you realize this isn't going anywhere, time to move. What you shouldn't do is start talking bad to yourself. Don't have that negative chatter that's inside. Don't focus on the bad. Focus on that, hey man, you went for it. It could have been a home run. It really could have been a home run. I bet it didn't. You struck out. Time to go. Time to move to the next thing, man. You get 100, a million, infinite at-bats. Don't get caught up on the last 50, because it doesn't matter. And that's the beautiful thing about business and entrepreneurship. And so now that I've trained my focus. I've trained my focus to only look at the optimistic side of things. And as an entrepreneur, as a creator, you have to be wired that way. Because if you're too cynical, if you're too realistic, whatever that means, then you'll never do the unrealistic actions. When people call you crazy, like, why would you even do that? Because you don't see it. You have to have that vision. And I'm naively an optimist. I've definitely learned how to make better decisions over time. But there's thousands, millions of opportunities that you can't get caught up on the one that didn't work out. And that level of excitement that you went into this one with, go into that with the same level of excitement. Focus on, like, what if this one works? That one's not going to work. It's done. Cut it off. Don't give it any energy. It's like a weed from the root. You pull it out. It's dead. It's never going to grow back. And that's state management. State management is all about where you put your focus. And so now we have to train your focus. Train where you look. What happens when you're studying something? What happens in a conversation? Where is your focus? Do you get caught up in a little point you were trying to make a few sentences ago? Or are you present in the moment? Because that's a microcosm of what happens in the bigger world, right? Do you get caught up on, oh, what happened? I lost my, people sometimes lose, like, all of a sudden you remember that you lost something, right? Oh, where is this thing at? Where's my, who knows? Something that's useless that you don't even need right now, right? You're not even looking for, you don't need it right now, it has no utility for you in your life, and then you just find this thing. Shit, I might die. You just get obsessed. Check. You get obsessed with trying to find this thing. And it does you no good to finding it right now. And you get obsessed with those things. You're just focused. Change your focus. Put it over here. Put it where it needs to go. You can do that. You can train that focus so your mind doesn't deviate you from the things that you want to train that focus. Check, check. Hopefully it's. And if you can train that focus in the right way, then you can live forever in the present moment and you can act with joy and with creativity and with love to everything that you do. So I hope this helps you, my friend, and go crush it wherever you are. Peace and love to you. Talk to you tomorrow.